This video will show you how to replace the serpentine belt tensioner on a Chrysler Town Country with a 3.8-liter engine. This will be located along the passenger side of your engine compartment. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. Let's start removing our serpentine belt. To remove the serpentine belt, you're going to have to make your way all the way down to the serpentine belt tensioner. You can see I have my 3/8 drive ratchet down on it at this point. Now, as I mentioned, you could use that 3/8 drive ratchet, or you could also use a serpentine belt tool with a 3/8 drive adapter, which is what I'll use. There we go. Now, when I replace these tensioners, I always like to fully remove my serpentine belt so I can thoroughly inspect it. Let's get this serpentine belt out of place. As we do this, you just want to pay attention to the belt routing. Try to slide off that crank pulley down along the bottom there. During the removal of the serpentine belt, you're going to find that it can only come up so far. We're going to have to safely raise and support so we can remove the passenger side front wheel. Safely raise and support the front end of the vehicle so the wheel's off the ground. Once you've completed that, you're going to remove all 5 of your 19mm lug nuts so we can get the wheel out of place. Now that we have the wheel out of place, let's continue on inward. We have to remove our belt shield. We'll start in the front. So as you make your way to the front here, you're going to find that you have a plastic push clip. I'm going to be using a trim tool. You can also use a flat blade screwdriver. As far as the push clip that I'm dealing with, it has a removable center. That's how you unlock it. So I'm just drawing it down and then I can remove the rest of it. Just a quick inspection of that will set it aside. Continuing on, you're going to find that you have 2 10mm mounting bolts. We also have one more push clip, but we're saving that push clip for last. Heading all the way towards the rear of the shield is our second 10mm mounting bolt. Directly in the center is our last push clip. This is the only thing holding this shield in place. Make sure it does not fall down and potentially hurt you during the removal of this. For this push clip, this one's a little different. Just go ahead and remove the entire thing. Pull it right out of there. Let's remove that shield. Quick inspection, set it aside. Now that we have that shield out of the way, we have a clear view of where our belt is stuck behind the tensioner pulley. Now to slide this out of here, you're going to have to use your 3/8 drive. We're going to pivot the tensioner just far enough that we can remove the belt from behind this area. You're going to find that it is restricted if you do not pivot this tensioner. Now at this point, I'm just going to reach up in here, pivot that belt. Okay, let's see. There we go. Nice. Take hold of that belt, pull it down and out of here. There it is, friend. A quick inspection and we'll set this aside. Now that we have the belt out of the way, we can see our serpentine belt tensioner. Looking up in this area, we have a 16mm headed mounting bolt. You can also use a 5/8 wrench if necessary. Now when you go to remove the bolt, you'll find that it does not come out of the tensioner. We're going to remove the tensioner and the bolt, and then we can remove the bolt from the tensioner. There it is, friend. Prior to installation of any brand new part, let's make sure we clean and inspect our mounting area. For this, I'm using a wire brush. We'll make sure it's a clean mating surface. Now that we have this clean, let's just pay attention to this area. We have the circular port for our mounting bolt. Looking down diagonally towards the rear, we have one locating point. Now, if you were to look at the tensioner itself, you're going to find that it has a circular port for the bolt, and it also has a locating tab which would fit into that corresponding port. Let's get ready to install the brand new serpentine belt tensioner. We want to make sure we have it in the proper orientation. We're taking our bolt, we're sliding it through what would be the outboard side. Now on the inboard side, we have our bolt, and we also have our one locating tab, just as I mentioned. Now let's get our serpentine belt tensioner in place. We're going to make sure it's properly aligned. We'll start on the mounting bolt, we'll bottom it out, and the torque for that bolt will be 250 inch-pounds. Go ahead and take hold of that. Make sure it's secured in place properly. This looks good. Let's continue on to our serpentine belt. Now it's time to install the serpentine belt. As you remember, during the removal process, we have to pivot the tensioner clockwise so we can sneak the belt in and behind the tensioner pulley and the engine there. Keep in mind, you do want to have the smooth side of the belt up against the smooth pulley. Be careful for any pinch points as you continue on. Let's get this out of the way for now. So now that we have it around that, we have to pay attention to the belt routing. We're going to be taking the portion of the belt that comes around the forward side of the smooth pulley on the tensioner, and we're bringing it all the way around the back side of our crank pulley. Now that I have it along there, I'm coming along my AC compressor and then up towards my power steering pump along the front area here. As we do this, we're trying to make sure that the grooves on the belt match up with the grooves on each one of the pulleys. Now let's make our way back towards that tensioner. We have the other side of the belt coming from along the top of that tensioner pulley. This is going to circle around the water pump pulley along the back side. This is leading straight up. Bring that up there. We'll push that belt up as far as possible. Now once you've done that, we're going to pause down in this area and we're making our way back up inside the upper portion of the engine compartment. Now we're up inside the engine compartment. Let's get the belt in the proper orientation here. We want to make sure we have the belt going around our power steering pump. We're going to take the smooth portion along our idler pulley. Now let's just continue on bringing this towards the alternator. We're going to have to pivot that tensioner clockwise so we can release tension and slide this over the alternator pulley. So now as I'm sliding the belt into place, I want to point out one thing. Now this is an extreme case, but you do want to pay attention to each one of the pulleys, especially the grooved pulleys. We need to make sure that the belt is properly seated. I have this off just so I can show you. If you had the belt sitting off like this, or even off by one of the teeth, you're going to destroy the belt and potentially cause other damage. Let's make sure everything's properly seated and in the proper routing. Double check each one of the pulleys before removing our tool. This looks good. Now that I feel as though I have the belt in the proper placement, the next thing you have to do is go ahead and start the vehicle. Turn it off after 5 seconds, make your way back out here and triple check the belt, confirming it's seated over each one of the pulleys properly. As I mentioned before, this is extremely important. After completing that, we're back inside of our fender well area. We need to install our belt shield. Now, once I have it up in place, I'm going to start with one of my push clips. This is just going to hold it up for me. Let's start in each of our two 10mm mounting bolts. Right here. Once you have those bolts started in, go ahead and snug them up. Onto the last push clip. Now for this push clip, we'll align it. We're going to start in the outer portion of the push clip first, pressing it all the way up, and then you lock it in by pressing in the center. Double check to make sure this is secured so it does not fall off or make noises while you're driving down the road. Reinstall your passenger side front wheel. Let's get our wheel in place. At this point, we're going to start on all 5 of our 19mm lug nuts. We'll bottom them out. Get the wheels safely on the ground and torque each of them to 100 foot-pounds. Torqued. Okay friend, we finished our installation. We've already triple checked the belt routing. At this point, go ahead and close the hood and take your vehicle for a road test. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.